You're the food taster for a paranoid dictator who's poisoned everyone before you. This is you. A silver spoon trembling 6 inches from your lips, while a man who has erased entire villages watches your throat to see if you're about to die. The porridge smells like almonds. Almonds are bad. Almonds are how cyanide says hello. And 11 men have knelt exactly where you're kneeling, and 11 men got carried out stiff. You're number 12. Bon appetit. Let's back up, because nobody volunteers for this. You didn't choose the spoon chose you. 6 months ago, you were a line cook in a hotel kitchen, burning your knuckles on a flat top, dreaming about a restaurant you'd never afford. Then the soldiers came. Not for a crime, just for your hands. The Marshal needed a new taster. The old one had retired into a body bag. They don't ask cooks if they want the job. They just put you in a windowless room, hand you an apron, and explain the rules in one breath. You eat first. From every plate, every cup, every grain. You eat, and you wait 20 minutes. If your heart keeps beating, the Marshal eats. If it doesn't, well, that's information too. The world you've fallen into runs on one fuel: fear. The Marshal has outlived 9 coups, 2 brothers, and a wife who fell down a staircase that had a railing. He trusts no one, which is the only reason he's still breathing. Everyone in this palace is smiling at someone they'd love to bury. The generals want the chair. The cooks want the generals' money. The cousins want the bloodline back. And every single one of them knows the fastest road to the throne runs straight through the Marshal's dinner. Which means it runs straight through you. You're not a servant. You're a fuse, and fuses are cheap. So that first month, you do the only thing a disposable man can do. You pay attention. You learn that poison isn't really in the food, it's in the people. The kitchen boy who won't meet your eyes when he sets down the lamb, the sauce that gets stirred one too many times by hands that are shaking, the cup that's already been wiped clean when it didn't need wiping. You start reading the room like a hand of cards, watching for the tell before you ever taste the thing. The night you refuse a bowl of fig stew, just push it back, no reason given, and the kitchen boy bolts out the service door and gets dragged back by his collar. That's the night you understand the game. He'd loaded it with oleander. You never tasted a drop. Poison doesn't hide in the food, it hides in the faces of the people who served it. That buys you respect, and respect buys you time, but reading faces won't save you forever. Sooner or later, somebody clever serves you a smile you can't read. So you go to war with your own body. You start small. Grains of arsenic stolen from the rat man's supply. A dose so tiny, it's basically a rumor. Then, a little more. Your guts twist, your gums bleed. You sweat through the sheets for a week straight. But you don't die, and the next dose hurts a little less. You're doing what the old kings did before the word vaccine existed. Feeding yourself the monster, spoonful by spoonful, until the monster gets bored and moves in as a tenant. Arsenic. Antimony. A whisper of thallium. You turn your stomach into a fortress, with the welcome mat soaked in venom. By month 3, you can swallow a dose that'd drop a horse, and just ask for water. The thing built to kill you, taken slow enough, quietly becomes the thing that keeps you alive. And now here's where you stop being a fuse and start being a player. Because the Marshal notices. He notices that the 11 before you all died. And you keep showing up for breakfast like it's a job you don't hate. And paranoid men don't see luck. They see talent, and talent they want close. He starts watching your face instead of his food. And the day you realize that, the day you understand that his fork doesn't move until your eyebrow does, the whole board flips. You don't just taste the food anymore. You decide what's safe. You decide who in that kitchen gets trusted and who gets dragged out screaming. The most powerful man in the country can't eat a boiled egg without your permission. You're holding his fear in your 2 hands like a baby bird, and a man's fear is the longest leash there is. Fear is a leash, and the one who controls the food controls the hand that holds it. So you start pulling, gently at first. There's a sous chef who's been undercutting you, whispering to the head steward that you're getting too comfortable, Too important. A taster who thinks he's a man. One morning his lamb tagging tastes wrong to you. Bitter. Off. You set the spoon down slow and shake your head, and you watch the color drain out of his face as the guards close in. Was it actually poisoned? Doesn't matter. The Marshal's terror does the math, and the math always rounds up to a fresh grave. You didn't lift a finger, you just frowned at a stew. The deadliest weapon in a palace of cowards isn't a blade, it's a doubt you plant in the right ear. But you get cocky, and cocky draws sharks. Because somebody upstairs decides a taster with this much sway is a problem worth removing, and they're smart about it, smarter than the kitchen boys. They don't poison the Marshal's food, they poison yours. A special cup set aside just for you, your own little ritual of testing the wine before the master's goblet is poured. They lace it with something exotic, something your homemade fortress has never met. A marine toxin, the kind that doesn't bother with your stomach and goes straight for your nerves. The first sip tingles your lips numb, and that numbness is a death sentence, with about a 4-minute fuse. A lesser man panics. You don't. You've spent 6 months in a building where the only currency is who did what to whom, and you spend those 4 minutes the only way that keeps you breathing. You don't spit it out and scream. You swallow your fear, you keep your face flat, and you do the most ruthless improvising of your life. You palm the cup, you carry it like evidence straight to the Marshal's table, and you announce, loud in front of the generals, that someone has just tried to murder his beloved taster as a dress rehearsal for murdering him. Then you point, not at the person who actually did it. You've got no idea who that is. You point at the general you've wanted gone for weeks, the one whose ambition leaks out of him like a bad smell. The numbness is crawling up your jaw. Your vision's going soft at the edges. But your hand is steady as a statue, and a steady hand in a room full of liars looks exactly like the truth. The general is on his knees before the toxin fully hits you, and you stumble off to recover, while the guards drag your rival to a wall. You survive on antitoxin. The palace doctor keeps for the Marshal. The one cabinet in the building you, and only you, have a key to. Every knife aimed at your back is just a handle if you're quick enough to grab it before it lands. After that, you're not staff anymore. You're a fixture. You're load-bearing. The Marshal moves you into a room down the hall from his own, because the man cannot fall asleep unless the human shield with the magic stomach is within shouting distance. You eat from every plate before he does, yes. But now you also decide which cooks get hired, which suppliers get trusted, which gifts of food from foreign delegations get quietly poured down a drain. You control the supply lines of the one thing a dictator can't delegate, his own survival. Generals who used to look through you now bring you wine and laugh too hard at your jokes. The treasury minister loses envelopes of cash in your coat pocket. You went from a disposable line cook to the gatekeeper of a tyrant's heartbeat, and you never threw a single punch. You just ate breakfast every day and lived. This is the peak. This is the mountaintop. The most feared man in the palace is the one who carries a spoon. In a kingdom of butchers, real power belongs to whoever the king is too scared to live without. And that right there is exactly where the rot sets in, because you stop seeing the trap inside the throne. You spent so long making yourself indispensable that you forgot the cold little rule underneath the whole game. The Marshal is paranoid, and you have just spent months teaching him that the closest people are the most dangerous. You fed that fear because it fed you. You never once stopped to ask the obvious question, the one a smarter man asks on day one. Who is the single human being on Earth who could poison the Marshal and survive the tasting? Who's the one man whose stomach is a fortress, who controls the food, who has the antitoxin key, who has every reason to want the old monster gone so he can keep running the country from the shadows? You built yourself into the perfect assassin on paper. You made yourself the only suspect that actually makes sense. And paranoid men, sooner or later, follow the logic all the way to the bottom of the cup. The fall comes quiet, the way the worst ones do. A new face shows up in the kitchen. Young, eager, a second taster, the Marshal says, just to lighten your load. You smile and shake the kid's hand, and feel the floor drop out of your stomach, Because you've sat in that chair. You know what a backup taster really is. It's a replacement being seasoned. It's the Marshal telling you, without telling you, that he's found a way to eat breakfast without needing you alive. Your whole fortune was built on being the only one. The second you stopped being the only one, you stopped being a man and went back to being a fuse. It moves fast after that. The little signs stack up like a bill coming due. The guards outside your door, who used to nod, now stare straight ahead. The cabinet with the antitoxin gets a new lock, and nobody gives you the key. The Marshal stops asking your opinion on the food and starts watching your face again. But not for danger to him, for guilt. You've been read your whole career. Now you're the one being read, and the man reading you invented the language. Then comes the morning. The climax tastes like almonds again, because of course it does. The universe loves a callback. You kneel on that same cold marble where 11 men knelt before you, where you knelt your very first day, and there's a bowl of porridge in front of you that smells faintly, sweetly, of bitter almonds. Except this time, the Marshal isn't waiting for you to taste his food. This time, the food is yours. He slides it across the marble himself with his own soft hands, and he says, in that gentle voice he uses right before the staircases get slippery, "You'll forgive an old man his caution, and you understand all at once the size of the box you built and climbed into. Refuse the bowl, and you've confessed. You've admitted you know it's poisoned, which means you've admitted you know poison, which means you die in the next 10 seconds against the nearest wall. Eat the bowl, and you're betting your whole homemade fortress against a dose mixed by the one person in the building who knows your exact tolerance down to the grain, because you taught it to him while you were busy feeling untouchable. The kid in the corner won't look at you. He's already learned the most important lesson in the palace, the one you taught him just by existing. You taste the faces in the room, the way you have 10,000 times, and every face has already buried you. So you do the only thing left to a man who turned his own body into a weapon and forgot that weapons get aimed by whoever's holding them last. You pick up the spoon. Steady hand. Always the steady hand. You lift the porridge to your lips and you taste it. Really taste it, the way you taught yourself in that windowless room a lifetime ago. And under the almonds, under the sweetness, you find it. The one note your fortress was never built to survive. The kid mixed it perfect. You'd have given him an A. The marbles cold against your cheek on the way down. 20 minutes. That was always the rule. You don't get 20, you get the time it takes the Marshal to push back his chair, dab his mouth with a napkin and tell the new boy that breakfast is safe now, because the only man who could have killed him just proved it the same way you proved everything in this life. By eating first. By dying so the king didn't have to. 11 men knelt before you, and you spent 6 months being smarter than all of them. And in the end, you got carried out the exact same door, stiff as a board, a spoon still warm in your hand. The fortress always falls. You just have to be the last one to notice you were standing inside the walls the whole time. That's a wrap for today. I'll be dropping more stories like this soon. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one.